Hi, I'm Pippa and I'm one of the co-founders of BloomBoard. In this short video, I'm going to take you through how BloomBoard works and how an event moves from proposal through to event day. So when you log into BloomBoard, you will see your dashboard, and this is where you have all your events, and you will see them in the different stages that they're at for the booking process. You can see them in this Kanban view. You can also change it to a calendar view or a list view. I'm going to take you through a few things that you will set up for your business, and then we will plan a wedding together briefly. So your library has been pre-populated with the most commonly used flowers and foliage, and it's in the prices that are the average prices for your country. So as we know, florists all have different suppliers and we have different prices that we use. So you will upload your prices from your supplier, which you can do on an ad item basis, or use this smart price importer, which makes your life so much easier and quicker, where you can upload your supplier price lists in whatever format that they give it to you. And it uses AI to read your price lists and then add it to your BloomBoard library. You'll also see a finance section. This is the cross-event analysis of all the finances for your events. On this account, I don't have a lot of events yet, so you will have a lot more data in here. We will go through this later. And then in the settings, you will find the place that you can add your tax types. You can add your markups on a multiplier or a percentage basis, however you mark your items up. And then you do have overrides for those in each event. You can set up all of your business settings here. So let's jump in and plan an event together. You have two ways of doing that. You can either send your clients an onboarding form, or you can create the event if you have all the details. So this is the lead form that you can send to your client. You can enter their names in there, and then you can email it to them. You can copy the link or WhatsApp it. You can customize your message. And then what this does is it takes them through the onboarding process, asking them the details about their event, their color palette, how they would describe what they're wanting. They can upload their images and Pinterest link, and then they can tell you exactly which arrangements they're wanting as well. And this saves a lot of time for you to gather all this information. Then the next time you open up BloomBoard, you will see them on this lead section here, and you can see where they are in the process. So you can see that I've sent Sarah and Harry one. The brief for Ella and Simon was open today, and then you can see where everybody is at so that no one slips through the cracks. The other way of adding an event, which we'll do today, is adding it with the details that you have. So my clients are Ella and Matteo, who have asked for a quote, and then you can select the event type. As we build the brief and the vision, you'll see it building on the right-hand side. You can see a live preview. Now you can set the date for this event, and then the number of guests. This is where you can upload images. You can upload from Pinterest. So instead of going to Pinterest, downloading the images, uploading them, you simply import from a Pinterest link, and then BloomBoard scans that link, brings in the images for you. You select those images and it pulls them into your brief. I'm going to drag and drop my images here that I've had saved. So I'm uploading 14 images at the moment, and then you can select which ones you want to use for your proposal. You can either manually write in the look and feel description and title for this event, or you can get an AI suggestion for it. Now I'm going to drag and drop the images that I want in my proposal, and you can change these out at any stage. And then I'm going to ask for a suggestion of the look and feel or the vibe. So you select the images, you ask it to suggest, and then it'll read the color and the images, and it'll bring through a color palette. You can change the color palette at any stage. You can change the title and description. For now, I'm going to use all of it. And then the final step is choosing the style of the template, which you'll also be able to adjust in the template studio. So I'm going to start with the romantic luxury version, and everything is ready for you to start your proposal. So you land on your proposal page, And you can see the details here for the wedding, what venue it's at, their budget. You can see the vision, all the images, and then the colors. You can swap out any colors at this stage. You have full autonomy over all of this. So before we dive in and plan an event together, I want to explain how BloomBoard workflow works. So usually when you're planning an event, you're coming at it from 3 different headspaces. Firstly, you want to book the client. Secondly, you're going to build the recipes out. You're going to plan the event. And then thirdly, you're thinking of the execution. Who's on team? How are we going to execute this wedding on the week of the event? So this is how the general workflow moves from one stage to the next. But we also know that planning doesn't always happen perfectly in one straight line. And you will see how BloomBoard allows for this fluidity within your planning structure and how your business works. So let's go through the proposal. I've got my vision here ready from when I created my event. Now you add your costs. So you're adding your arrangements, you add your rentals, services, team and labor, and operational costs. And then you can see the total amount and attach your terms and conditions so that when the client is signing the proposal, they're also signing your floral service agreement. You can also see on each section that you can override the markups, which is really important to be able to have full autonomy over this for each event. When you're adding an arrangement, you have a few ways you can do this. You can either do a manual recipe, add it from a template that you've saved already from previous work, or add it with our smart recipe builder. And then you can also add it as an estimate. So if you see the image that your client sent and you know how much you're going to charge for that without building out the recipe, you can just add it as an estimate. Or if you need to build out the recipe first to know how much your arrangement will cost and then you multiply it to get the client price, you can also do it that way around. So now I've added my bridal bouquet. Now I'm going to add an arrangement through the Smart Recipe Builder. I'm going to add the ceremony urns. So you simply select your image, or you can describe what you want BloomBoard to create for you. And now it is building the recipe. So the BloomBoard Smart Recipe Builder will isolate what flowers are in that arrangement as well as the stem counts. And then you can either add those items to your library if they don't exist yet, or it matches the flowers to your library that are the closest fit. You can substitute items here, or you can remove items. It creates a lovely name and a description, and it categorizes this as a ceremony piece, which is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and create my arrangement. Now you have full autonomy over this. So this just gave you the structure for the arrangement. You can now delete any items, you can add new items, and the prices are all pulled in from your library. Now I've clicked add ingredients, and you can see all the ingredients for your library here, and then your most recently used flowers and foliage are at the top. So I'm just going to add one item to show you, and then you can adjust the quantities as you need. You can do an override of the price. So at the moment it's using the recipe price, but if I want to make this $700, I can do that, no problem. So I'm going to now move to this version of the event that is more planned out, and then we can chat through the other sections. So you will see here there are more arrangements added in different ways. On the right hand side you have your financial rail, and we've intentionally made the finances available through every single lens so that you can see exactly what your costs are, what your client proposal price is, and what your margin is. And then you can see the rentals that I've added for this event, the markups that the rentals have that I've set. You can see your services. You can add staff as a percentage or as a fixed value. And then your operational costs, I've got transport here and mechanics here. So you can add all the things that are kind of on the behind the scenes running of the business here. The payment schedule I've set as a 50% deposit and a 50% final balance. And I've also attached my terms and conditions. Now I'm ready to send this to my client. So I want to see what the template looks like, and then I can tweak certain things and then send it along to the client. You can drag and drop any images that you want to switch out. This has automatically pulled through from what I've worked on my proposal side, and now my client can receive this. It's got my business name, all of their details. It's got a welcome note that you can edit here, make it personal for your client, and the visual direction page. You can swap out any images you need to. And then it's got all my arrangements. So I've got my bridal retinue, my ceremony arrangements, my rentals. You can also customize these templates quite a lot. So you can see you can change the wording of headings and the paper color and quite a lot of customized things. And you can see the payment schedule. So on our setup rail, you can see that we've got different templates that you can choose from. We've got 5 templates, and then you can also customize them, make changes, and then save those templates as a preset so that you can reuse it for other events with your branding and details on it. And this is the template for the luxury proposal. It's more fleshed out, so you've got a contents page here. You've got an overview of the day, visual direction, and then you can see the different layout here. So we've got the 5 different templates. They're really beautiful, and you should find something that works well for your client. Okay, so now I'm really happy with my templates. I'm going to send this to my client. You don't even need to spend a lot of time editing it if you don't want to. You can go ahead and send your proposal. You can send it via email, or you can copy a link. You can download the PDF. You can also set if the proposal expires or not, so that BloomBoard can send them automatic reminders closer to the day of expiry to encourage them to look at it and get back to you. You can see the preview of what the email will look like. This is the email that your client receives. They can click review and sign. And then this is the proposal that they see, which is beautifully laid out for them. They can also request changes, or they can decline, and they can accept and sign. When they accept and sign, they need to agree to your terms and conditions before they can sign, and they are linked here. These are the terms and conditions that I have set up for my business. They can read everything that they need to here. So I'm going to go ahead and sign. They can do a signature, or they can type. So now you can see that BloomBoard has updated the proposal lifecycle, and it has been signed. Now you move to the production. So if a client asks for changes, you can just create a new revision of that proposal. You can put the different changes in, and then you can send in the proposal again to review. When you're in the production mindset, you're thinking of which recipes still need to be built. Do I need to edit any of the recipes that I've planned? Are my rentals still correct? And what's the prices for the services and operational costs? Everything that you planned in proposal comes through here automatically. So it's like a mirror, and it allows you to just fill in the things that still need to be filled in. You don't have to be entering everything in again from scratch. So it's brought through really seamlessly. My orders are already here. I've got everything that I need to assign for my flowers, my decor, my candles, everything is here. And then you can add your suppliers on the side here, and then you can allocate to your suppliers. So my 2 suppliers are Hannah's Flower Farm and Magnolia Decor Rental. And then you can simply assign by clicking on them like this. If you have an order that's large and it needs to be split between 2 suppliers, you can do so by clicking on this arrow. And then once everything is assigned, you can then do the adjustments that you need. So for example, if you know that the Italian ruscus gets sent in stems of 10, then you can increase that ordering amount to 90 stems, and you can adjust the cost. So if the cost of certain flowers or foliage or rental is different for this event compared to what's in your library, you can update the cost. One of the most important things at this stage is you want to compare what your estimated costs were when you created your recipes versus what your actual recipes are going to cost you with your substitutions, with increased numbers of stems, increased or decreased prices, and then it allows you to keep an eye on the margin as well. If you need to substitute a flower because your supplier said it's unavailable, then you can search for a different flower, you can select it, you can see the cost impact, simply substitute it, and you've got a record there. Then you can download all of your orders. So here is my order sheet that I can send to my supplier. If you want to have everything sent in bunches, if your supplier works in bunches, then you just set that in your library. But for this demo, I've got everything in stems. Before we move to the week of, I'm going to show you how you can export everything that you've been working on, because on the week of the wedding, you may want to give your team and your freelancers, for example, the recipe sheet so that they know what flowers to pull for what arrangements. You can select everything that you want to download to give to your team, and then you can just click download pack. So now we are on the final stage of the planning. We are executing this event and we want to plan what happens on the week of the event. So firstly, you're going to allocate team members to that event. So you can enter in your team for that event. And then you have a timeline here or a run sheet. You can set what days you want it for. I've got pre-prep day, event day, and strike day here. Then you can add the times, the details. You can assign staff here as well. So I can assign new staff members. You can drag and drop them around. You can then create checklists. You can tick items off, and then this will update live on your team link. You can see the venue details, what the time is for access, your strike time, and then you can also see the weather for this event. So the weather will come up 7 days before the event. At this stage, you obviously want to communicate the plan for the day or for the week with your staff. So you can download the week of pack, or you can send your team a link, and then this is a live link. So if you change anything on your timeline, any of the details on the checklist, then it'll update. So they just confirm who they are, and then they can open the schedule. They can say if they want to see the timeline just for them or for everybody. They can see the whole timeline there, as well as all the details that we've seen on that week of page. So as you've seen in the production and the proposal lenses, we've been able to see the finances. There is a finance tab that you can zoom in on the finances for this event. In this area, you can create invoices. So you can create a deposit invoice, a remaining balance invoice, everything, or a blank invoice. You can customize your invoices. You can create descriptions, and everything is pulled in there for this event. And then in this section, you will also find a place to do reconciliations after your event. So we're busy deploying that at the moment, but you can either do it manually, you can do it with our BloomBoard AI, where you can take photos of your slips, you can upload your invoices, and then it sorts through everything for you and shows you automatically what your reconciliation was. And then you can also view that across all your events. I wanted to demo one last thing to you so that you can see when a client asks for changes, BloomBoard records that beautifully for you. So let's change the bridesmaids bouquets to 4, and then they wanted to change the boutonnieres to 10, for example. Now you can see clearly what those changes were, so that you can keep an eye on all these changes, and then you can decide if you absorb any of these changes as a business or if you send a new proposal to your client. So in this case, you will send a new proposal to your client. You can go to your proposal. There's a button up here that says what changed versus what was agreed to with the client. So you can clearly see those changes that your client asked for increase the quote by $257, and now you can create a revision and then send that new proposal to your clients so that they can see the increased prices. That is a wedding planned through BloomBoard, where everything is in one place for your events. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy using BloomBoard.